It took a while, 11 years basically, but I realize now I'm done. I cannot keep honeybees alive long enough to keep a viable business. I'm not gonna make any money doing this. First colony I bought one colony 11 years ago. They got through winter just fine, so I bought some more, 4 more colonies this following year. But basically, after 3 years, I had 60 colonies. I wasn't even treating for varroa mites. And then the 4th year is when I actually had trouble. So then I started treating for varroa mites, and my bees were still having issues. And you'd say, okay, now the frames are getting older. Yeah, but I have a lot of new colonies that have a lot of new frames in them. But what happens is I keep complaining about the toxic chemicals. I'm surrounded by crop farmers, and to the south of me, that crop farmer, he loves to use chemicals. Every other week during the summer months, he's out there spraying something. Last summer, he was out there spraying when the corn was 6 feet high. He was out there with his sprayer going across the field spraying, probably for corn borers or something, pesticide. So I'm going to say that got into all my hives. I can't get anybody on YouTube to join me in this fight against the chemicals. Nobody cares. So what happens is if only 20% or 15% of your colony survives, gets through winter, that doesn't leave enough bees to restart a colony. And what happens is if they get down to 50 workers or whatever, they can't do brood. They basically get demoralized, and they basically all just die. But if you have a queen that's laying and you have enough bees in there, let me set this down. There, see? This was cleaned out a couple weeks ago or so, and that doesn't help. I try to keep them clean all winter long, thinking that maybe there's some kind of virus in there. If I get the dead bees out, maybe it'll stop or slow down the spread. And I always check here. I look for varroa mites. I did a lot of varroa mite treatments last fall going into winter. There are no varroa mites, okay? Trust me. It's not the varroa mites killing your bees. If you're having issues like I am, you know, your bees constantly dying, you're treating for varroa mites, and you can't figure out what the hell. Last week I made a couple calls. I was trying to sell my bees. Nobody wants to buy them. And one beekeeper told me, oh, well, it's bacteria. And I said, no. This is crop farmers and their toxic chemicals killing my bees. And there's not a damn thing I can do about it. I had bees killed instantly the same day a farmer was out in the field a few years ago. I put that video on. Doesn't get very many views. Nobody cares. So I guess I'm all done. I'm probably going to have a few colonies, but it's probably 15% of what I had going into winter. And I'm not going to... This has happened to me before. It seems like you take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. Back in 2017, I went into winter with 60 colonies, and I had like 2 or 3 left, and they were really small. So I went to that beekeeper. He just got his bees back from out south, down south or out west. So I bought some frames of brood and some workers, nurse bees, and I gave it to my queens, and I got through spring. And then I bought some packages from him, and then I bought foliage Russian bees, queens. I'm thinking, okay, that's gonna help out. And you know what? It didn't help at all. So I lost a lot the following winter. So then 2018, I started the Formic Pro formic acid with 20 colonies, or 22 colonies, and 2 of them lost their queens. So I ended up with getting 20 colonies through winter, and that was pretty good. But I didn't have a lot of colonies to work on getting through winter. So I used that Formic Pro the second year, 2019. It didn't kill any varroa mites. It just killed 10% of my queens. So I said, hell with that. The Formic Pro formic acid doesn't work all the time. So then I switched to acylic acid that year, and that killed all the varroa mites, but my colonies had already been weakened because I didn't get to the silic acid until November. So I've been using silic acid ever since, but it doesn't kill the varroa mites in a carrot brood. It takes a long time. You have to work really hard. And being that I had about 200 colonies last fall, with all the robbing and issues going on, I realized at the end of August they had varroa mites, but I thought I could wait until September like I normally did. So, and then I realized I needed something that would do more hives. I brought that ProVap thing at the end of September. So basically, for a month, they had issues with varroa mites, and I didn't get them out of there with the silic acid until like, gosh, November, because it takes a long time to get rid of all of them. So that didn't help at all. And that's the reason why I didn't spend money on SERP last fall, because this has happened before. What was it? 2022, we had a long spring. I spent a lot of money in 2021 on SERP, you know, domino cane sugar. And because we had a long spring, a lot of my colonies didn't make it. Because, like I said, if 80% of your bees die during winter, the longer the winter is, the more likely you're going to have more bees die in that colony, and you're going to have fewer colonies. But I can't blame the weather this year. It's been perfect. March 12th, it's nice out. Can't blame the weather. I blame myself because I thought I could go into winter with several small colonies. What I did was I took my large colonies. They had old queens, and I killed those queens, and I took the honey and bees and I put them all in my new colonies I made in 2023. They're basically a lot of nukes. So they were small, and they got robbed by the commercial bees and some of my bees. And the varroa mites took a toll on them, but I got rid of the varroa mites going into winter. And if the viruses they get from the varroa mites go from bee to bee after the bee gets it from the varroa mite, then I'm going to have issues with the silic acid, because if the bees get sick and you get rid of the varroa mites and you still have sick bees in there and they keep spreading that virus to other bees, then it's kind of pointless. I don't see me ever making any money with this. I'm 57 years old. I busted my ass all winter. If you've been following my videos, you'll know I've been busting my ass all winter to keep these bees alive. I've done nearly 300 hive inspections inside during the winter. But it hasn't helped, and I was taking bees from the larger colonies and giving it to the small ones, but I can't do that anymore. Because I'm at the point now, if I take any more from these, there's not going to be enough in there to restart. So my goal right now is to end up with some bees. I'm not going to ever buy bees ever again. I'm going to see how long I can keep honeybees alive during my life, but I know I'll never ever get to the point where I'm going to have 250 colonies and have a big honey extractor in my garage there. Okay, that's why I haven't spent any money on a lot of beekeeping equipment. I don't have a honey extractor. The construction I'm doing on my house, even if I don't have honeybees, I'm still going to enjoy the extra space in my house. Because if you see my videos, the reason I was doing this construction, because I don't have room for all these deeps. I pull off deeps going into winter because the colonies are small, and I keep pulling hive bodies away from them as they get smaller, because I can't carry those. I don't have enough room to store them inside to keep them alive. Okay, if I had left my bees outside and not done anything at all, I'm not sure I'd have any left at all, you know. But if I hadn't up with 10 or 15%, even after all the work I've done, it's still worth it, because I can rebuild. This will be the third time that I'm rebuilding, but this will be the first time that I'm going to rebuild without buying honeybees. Okay, so basically, first time was when I had like 3 colonies after 60. And I bought some frames of bees, and then I bought packages a month or so later when the packages are available. And then 4 years later, or something like that, 4 or 5 years later, well, maybe I didn't buy any bees that time, so maybe I've only done it once. But this is the third time that I've gone down in numbers of colonies, and I'm still not gonna. I refuse to buy honeybees, and I refuse to borrow money towards any beekeeping equipment or beekeeping business. I do have a legitimate business, but it's a good tax write-off. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is I'm done, and if my videos have helped you, and if you're not surrounded by crop farmers and you've actually been helped by stuff that I do, then good for you. But if you're in a situation where I am, where you bust your ass and it still doesn't make any good, you got to ask yourself, is it worth it? I could never make any money with honeybees. The people that make money are the ones that take your bees south and they do the pollinating. I didn't ever want to do that. So I'm done, okay? Thank you.